Hi, it's Scott with Water Heaters Only, and today we're going to be talking about draining your water heater. This is one of those annual maintenance that really will help increase the life of your water heater. Nowadays, honestly, they're made to last about 8 to 10 years, but you can always help increase the life by draining and sometimes even flushing your water heater. Basically, sediment collection here. It will collect and collect and collect. Somewhere along the line, if you don't flush it out and get some of that sediment out as best as possible, it could harden at the bottom, become almost like this coral-like substance, and then it's making your water heater work harder because it has to heat that. There's less space, you're wasting energy, and you know, we've all heard those old loud water heaters, the rumbly water heaters. 9 times out of 10, that is sediment that is hardened at the bottom. But again, there's something you can do all on your own, annual maintenance, as I said, and that includes draining your water heater. It is not hard to do, but there are some basic facts you need to know. First fact, this is your water heater. In this particular home, it's in an inside little closet in the laundry room. They can sometimes be in an outside closet on a deck if it's an apartment. Often it's in the garage nowadays. This is where we prefer to put them if we have a choice. Again, that way there's a concrete floor, but that's, wherever it is in your home, just make sure you know where it's at. You should always just know where it's at in general. This is one of the things you should be aware of. And again, here's your water heater. Here's the basics. This is a classic 40-gallon water heater, standard two bedroom, 3 bedroom, 1 to 2 baths, perfect size for your standard residential. Right up here, we have our hot and cold lines. This is your cold line. It's almost always on the right, and your hot line on the left. Down below here, you see the gas control valve. This is one of the other things we'll be interacting with. So, first and foremost, let's talk gas control valve. Down here, and it doesn't matter if it's an electric water heater, there will be a thermostat setting. It'll still be very obvious, but on gas control water heaters, you'll find them right down here below, because usually the pilot is down here as well. And what you're going to want to do, water in here, it's typically about 120 degrees. We're going to be draining it to a safe location, which we'll get to in a minute. But the fact is, it's hot, so you're going to want to turn it down. It's just a good thing to do. So right here, you'll see it very obviously. This is your gas control valve, its temperature, and this right here, you turn it down. This particular setting has a low setting. Some water heaters will have a vacation setting. Again, it's all about turning the temperature down. The pilot doesn't need to be shut off. The gas doesn't need to be shut off. But you turn it down to its lowest temperature setting and then give it an hour or two. You can do it in the morning and come back in the afternoon. That way the water has time to cool down. May not be cold, maybe just lukewarm, but still, that's fine. It, helps avoid 130 degree, 120 degree water coming out of your garden hose, which again, we'll get to in a minute. So, once you turn that down, the next thing you're going to want to do is turn the water off. Up here on the cold line, there will always be a water shutoff valve. Sometimes it's nowadays a red one. This one has just your classic blue knob here. You just want to turn to the right. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. We all remember that. And if we don't, you've learned one of many new things today. You want to turn that all the way off to the right. At this point, find another faucet in the home, and you're going to want to open the hot side. That way, when we want to run the water through, it will prevent a vacuum from forming in the lines. So you're going to want to go ahead and do that. And then your next step will be locating a garden hose. We want this water to drain out to a safe location. We'll discuss that in just a moment. But let's go ahead and show you right here. At the bottom of your water heater, this is the drain right here. Now often it'll just be a normal twist. Right here, looks like we've got one of the ones that's going to require a screwdriver. That's no problem. Anyway, when you get your garden hose, go ahead and hook it up like you would normally any hose. It's not a problem. This one's a little tight, but that's okay. It'll just take a little bit of effort. Okay, now that we got the garden hose hooked up to the drain, let's find an acceptable location for this water to drain out. Remember, we turn the temperature down. It's not going to be boiling hot, but you know, you still, if you don't have time to wait for it to cool down a whole lot, again, 120 degree water, even if it's 100 degree water, you want to make sure it empties to a nice location. This is why it's great when it's in a garage. There's a concrete floor. You can still run the hose out. It's usually right next to a driveway or lawn. What you don't want to do is have it running into a sidewalk where people are walking. You definitely, you know, don't want it on your nice rose bushes. So here's a good location. So we got it hooked up. We're going to take it outside. And again, it's an inside closet, so make sure your hose is long enough. And now we're going to take it out here. And this is a perfect location. Nice little gravelly dirt zone. The hose empties right into it. Again, we're not going to be emptying a whole lot, just enough to flush out that sediment. But it's a safe spot. Not on any of the roses or any other plants growing. This will take the water, no problem. And again, it's a perfect location. So at this point, it is ready to pretty much wrap this up. So we're going to want to, of course, shut off the water at the drain down here, just like I showed you. Again, this one requires a screwdriver, so no problem. What do I keep saying? And we should all know, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. At this point, you can remove the hose. If you want to have a cup ready, there might be a little bit of water that comes out. I mean, you are dealing with that, but you know, pretty much just take this off. And you know, these fun little angles, well, they make it lots of fun. We can get it, no problem. There we go. Hose is off. We'll take it outside. Okay, and that's about it. We're at the last couple steps. We, of course, have closed the drain. We've taken the hose off. If there's any little residual water that's dripped out, of course, wipe it down. Now we're ready for the last couple steps, turning the water back on. And of course, we're gonna do it right here on the water shutoff, which is on your cold line. We showed you that earlier, just to the left. It's either a regular knob like that or the red, either way, to the left. Make sure it's all the way open. And then we're going to readjust our thermostat here. Remember, we turned it down low so we can get the water temperature down. And just turn it back to where it was. Make a note, 120 degrees, something like that. This one's got an A, B, and C, and a very hot, but it wasn't on very hot. When you kick it back on, you're probably going to hear your pilot kick back on because, of course, the water needs to get up to temperature. And that's pretty much it. You turn off close the hot water valve on your sink or wherever you had that open. And that's it. A real important part to keeping your water heater up and running and extending the life as much as possible. It's something that we feel you can do. This is why we wanted to make this video. Of course, if you have any questions, any technical assistance about this or anything related to your water heater, call us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're always happy to come out. Don't charge extra for weekends, holidays. Sometimes that's all you're available is on the weekend. Sometimes you have water heater issues on Thanksgiving. That's when that happens, but that's a different story. Anyway, call us. We're always happy to come on out, give you some technical assistance over the phone. It's what we've been doing since 1968. We're always here for you. Thanks for visiting. We'll see you at the next video.